Hey man, did you see Quincy Carrier video about Myles Garrett, man? Shout out Quincy, man. Shout out Quincy. He made some points though. He made some points for sure. So let's get into it.
I wanted to spend the first chunk of this video understanding, laying out why it is, all this other stuff that's not Myles Garrett that would frustrate you about the Cleveland Browns before I got here. Because I want to make it clear. I understand
It's plenty of
that
stuff to
Myles
frustrate you.
Garrett is not the worst thing about the Cleveland Browns right now. But
Facts.
leadership on the field is one of the worst things of the Cleveland Browns right now. And Myles good, and here's what I mean by the Browns' leadership is not good. Obviously, the coaching on all phases of the ball are not having success right now, right? But if we're talking about the leadership in the line,
That's an understatement. That's an understatement. You could argue that all three of our coaches has been some trash this year. Even Jim Schwartz. Before you get into it, man, if you watched my video yesterday, um, I kind of almost I wasn't gonna do what he did in this video, but I almost said like, man, Miles been on some BS, but I ain't want to say that, you know what I'm saying? Because Miles is Miles, you know what I'm saying? I think this whole thing might have a deeper reason. I think, but we'll see. Let me see what he say.
locker room, let me ask you this question. Who is our leader?
Great question.
Who's our leader? Who is the leader of the 2025 Cleveland Browns? Who's been the leader of the Browns as a franchise? I can't really think of a name, right? Most of the guys that we associate with the team are pretty quiet when it comes to that aspect. Like Nick Chubb, who's not with the team anymore, wasn't really a vocal leader, obviously. His whole thing is not being vocal, right? Joe Batonio, again, another similar thing to Nick Chubb, where he's not a very vocal leader, right? Denzel Ward, he's not really somebody who's thrown himself into that role. The only guy I can really think of where the shoe would fit would be Myles Garrett. And
that's another knock against Andrew Berry because he went into a lot of them drafts, and I don't know if it's because of the public or whatever, but like he went into a lot of them drafts and got like a whole bunch of just nice guys, or just guys that wasn't vocal. Like over the years, I can only think of like a handful of people that was like leaders, like that he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I could think way back to like a Demario Davis linebacker. He in New Orleans now. And then you had, Jarvis Landry. Other than that, I mean, and he didn't, and of course, Andrew Berry didn't draft him, guys. This is way back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we really don't be having them kind of guys in the locker room like that. For some reason, we want to get all these, like, or we used to want to get a lot of, like, nice guys. Lately, it's been the opposite. We've been getting a lot of guys that have been, like, on some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'll say this, though, before I continue the video. I think Quinshawn Judkins is going to end up being one of them leaders. Once he gets some years under his belt, because I can see it in him now. Like, I think he's going to be one of them guys that's going to be like a vocal leader.
What Myles Garrett did in his post-game press conference, I thought was demonstrative of some of the poor leadership that is getting us to this point, and why it is that I feel like Myles Garrett, at this point, I have no choice but to say he's a poor leader. He's not a good leader. So what Myles...
I didn't even see the press conference. I was busy doing something else. Plus, I don't be watching it. I see. That's one thing you got to give Quincy, man. He see and watch everything, which I see. I see most of the stuff. But when we get to losing, man, I be like, man, let me get up out of here. We lost. I don't want to hear what they got to say because they're gonna say the same thing. Oh, we got to do better. Especially if you watch like Kevin Stefanski, he'll piss you clean off. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. He gonna say the same thing, bro.
Did for those of you who don't know, he was in the press conference and basically they asked him, is it frustrating to lose like this? And he said, yeah, it's frustrating that the offense can't score points and he's tired of losing like this. And he doesn't want to be Joe Thomas.
He said that?
Right?
He said all that?
Look, some people are going to see those quotes and say, he's not lying. He's telling the truth, though, Quincy. And if Myles Garrett's job was to be a journalist, I'd be applauding Myles Garrett. But guess what, man? Myles Garrett's job's not to be a journalist. Myles Garrett's job is to be a leader of a team. That's Myles Garrett's job.
Hey, Quincy, if you see this video, listen, man. But see, he do so many videos, he can't do that. Never mind. I was gonna say, you know, you can do this afterwards, bro. Like you don't have to have that little thing. But of course, he know. He been doing YouTube for years. Again, I'm a fan of his videos. I've been watching them for. I've been watching Quincy since before we was. Might have been before Becker even got here. I ain't sure, but him and G Bush is my favorites. But you could do that afterwards. But you do so many videos, and I'm sure you do your own editing that you ain't doing that. So, continue.
Not to be a truth teller, right? Myles Garrett's job is to be a leader, and when the team's not successful, go up there and talk about what he can do to help things. The fact that Myles Garrett is up there bitching and moaning, acting like a passenger on this ride is unacceptable. You can't accept that from a leader. He can't act like that and want to fill the void of a leader. If this is how Myles Garrett wants to act, give the keys to the leadership to somebody else. Because you can't be it. You want to sit there and be able to bitch and moan about the offense publicly? Cool. You can't be the leader of the team. I don't need my leader. Like, would Calais Campbell ever throw his offense under the bus? No. Like, who's our Calais Campbell on this team? Who's our leader? Who's really holding the fort down? Who's really trying to bring the offense and the defense together? Because a leader doesn't stoke a fire of division between two sides of the ball. A leader tries their best to put that fire out. And Myles Garrett chose to stoke the fire. Regardless of how justified you might feel it is, that's just not his role. Not publicly, at least. You want to do that in the players-only meeting, I got no problem with that. Call people out if they're not playing well. But you got to call yourself out, too, if you're Myles Garrett. Because here's my other problem with what he said.
That's the thing.
Myles Garrett up there talking like his shit don't stink. And I'm sorry. These last 2 weeks, Myles, your shit stank. I just got to be honest with you. It stank. What you did, or better described as what you did not do against Minnesota.
See, and that's yesterday in the video I was saying, like, man, I said, like, Myles Garrett ain't do nothing today. Like, he did nothing. But again, it's like it's so what is it? Is it he ain't doing is it he actually doing nothing? Or is it that they taking him out of the game plan? Or is it that Jim Schwartz not doing enough? But now, if you a star and he's supposed to be the leader, Myles did say, I'm taking more of a leadership role this year. You know what I'm saying? They gave him the bag. They like, hey, they actually asked him to do that though. I want to say it was the owner. Jimmy Haslam was like, we need you to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? And he said he would do that. I digress. Let's see what he said.
Which you did not do against Pittsburgh. And let's not play with kid gloves here. Myles Garrett was unproductive in a game in Minnesota where Minnesota not only had Carson Wentz, who's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the last 5 years, but also had an offensive line that consisted of 3 backups. Myles Garrett was not effective in that game.
He ain't lying. That's what I'm saying. He ain't lying.
Myles Garrett was on the field
That was a terrible look.
when Carson Wentz went 9 for 9, 80 yards downfield to score a game-winning touchdown when the defense entered the field with the lead. Now, it seems like Myles Garrett wants to point fingers and say, hey, the offense should have scored more points if they wanted us to win that game. But, brother, did you not have the lead with 3 minutes to go? And all you had to do was get Carson Wentz off the field one more time? Were you not on the field for 80 yards when they marched right down and scored on you smooth as easy as butter with 3 backup offensive linemen, a backup quarterback, and the backup quarterback is Carson Wentz of all people? Was Myles Garrett? Somebody tell me. Was Myles Garrett injured?
I ain't gonna lie. You cooking. Hey, Q, you cooking, man. I was thinking the same thing, but I'm like, man, look, they just taking them out of the game. You know what I'm saying? They just throwing the ball fast. They ain't giving them a chance. You know what I'm saying? Granted, they really do be double team, triple team, man. But I don't know. I don't know if it's him or I don't know if it's Sports, bro. When Sports first got here, he would move Myles around and everything. Like now, they just sit Myles over there and just let him just stay there.
For that drive, was he in concussion protocol or was he out there? Did he have an opportunity to do something about it? Myles wants to complain about how we're losing. Well, he could be a part of the problem or he could be a part of the fucking solution.
That's a fact.
See, Myles Garrett has agency over this situation. Myles Garrett's not a fan, but he's talking like a fan, and he's supposed to be the leader of the team. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Myles Garrett has agency. If Myles Garrett wants to bitch about our record, Myles Garrett had a chance to do something about our record when Carson Wentz was out there. If Myles Garrett wants to bitch about how we lost this game to the Steelers, Myles Garrett was out there on Sunday. I know it's hard to think that he was out there because he was utterly ineffective versus Broderick Jones, who has struggled at the left tackle position for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who blanked them today. But Myles Garrett was on the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
Myles Garrett had the opportunity to make an impact, but yet I cannot recall the impactful Myles Garrett play from this game. See, maybe if Myles Garrett was making impactful plays in that final drive and stopped the Minnesota Vikings from scoring and the offense still messed that up, I'd be sympathetic. Maybe if Myles Garrett did a single damn thing in this game versus Pittsburgh, maybe I'd be empathetic to Myles Garrett here and say, hey, guys, take it easy on him. But he ain't doing a goddamn thing, and he got the nerve to talk about other people who ain't doing a goddamn thing. He was just as useless as everybody else on the football field was when it came to winning this game because he didn't do a goddamn thing to help us win this game.
Nothing at all. That's a fact.
And you wanted, after that, have the audacity to throw people under the bus. Mr. Leader. This is leadership, right? When you have room for accountability, it's not like you were undeniable 4 sacks. It would be ridiculous if you blamed yourself. No, you have room for accountability and you chose to skirt it to point the finger and the megaphone at somebody else so people won't compare you unfavorably to TJ Watt. I'm fucking sick.
Hey, you tell me where he wrong, man. You tell me, hey, listen, man. Hey, you cook with that video. I'm probably gonna take it from here, but because I know the video long. But hey, you ain't telling no lies, bro. That's and you know what the thing is? I don't know if it's because it seemed like he loafing. It seemed like he might be loafing these last few games. I don't know if he just like checked it in, like mentally. But I also don't know if it's strategic, like the way he just said, the way he just did this, because this is going even if it don't nationally like don't make noise or make ripples in that locker room, it's gonna make some noise.